Hello, hi everyone. How are you doing? Let me know if we have people joining the session. I can't see anyone yet. Please let me know if you're in the room. We're going to have to use the chat on this one. And how do I see if everyone or anyone is online? Hello, Nicole and Jimmy. Hi, welcome. Welcome on board. Thank you so much for joining and being so prompt. We'll just wait for a few more people to join in and we will get this started. And as you join the session, can you let me know you're here so I can get an indication of how many people have joined so far? And where are you based, Nicole and Jimmy? Are you in Melbourne or in Australia at least? Or maybe America? Where are you? Can you let me know? Okay. Northern Beaches. Oh, hello. Hi, Nicole. Your name rings a bell for some reason. You may have sent me an email. Um, and Jimmy, whereabouts are you? And I'm hoping we'll give people maybe a few more minutes to join in before we get started. And Jimmy, are you there? Where are you based? In the Philippines. Okay, welcome. Brilliant. I like the fact that I'm already international with you dialing in from the Philippines. Awesome. And please do let me know if anyone else is joined or is joining. I also wonder if my kids are watching already. This will be fun. Okay, we have roughly about 14 people online, which is brilliant. Thank you so much for joining. Feel free to let me know who you are and where you are connecting from. Amazing. My wife just said hello. That's hilarious. Okay, so we have roughly about 14 people. I'll give it a few more minutes and then I am going to get started. And hopefully, where they join us, I'm sure they're going to have some questions for me, but we'll see how we go. I'm going to make this really fun, make this really entertaining, but most importantly, I'll give you a lowdown of what I've been up to, and obviously a lot more about the product, a bit about me, and obviously share what I have done so far. So, anyone able to comment who you are, where you're connecting from? It would be nice. Trying to make this a bit more interactive, a bit more fun, and not so serious. I want to be playful. I really wish this was interactive. Okay, I think I'm going to get started. Um, so, just for, I always tend to do pay my respects. I'm Christopher. I'm the founder of Upzeez. And before I start, I'm going to pay my respects to the traditional landowners. Upzeez would like to begin today by paying our respects to the traditional landowners. Um, and where we're obviously having this online session, we pay our respects to the past, present, and elders of the where we obviously are holding today. Sorry, excuse me, it's been a very long day, but I'm sure I'll get through this. But outside of that, so a bit about me. I'm Chris, and I'm the designer of Upzeez. And Upzeez is pretty much a three-in-one smart high-rise baby cot. And just to give you some background, obviously, because I'm speaking to a lot of mums or soon-to-be mums or already mums, you're probably thinking, why am I here? Why me? Why am I talking about such a product which is, I feel, traditionally owned and championed by most mums? But just a brief overview in the sense that my kids were roughly born. My daughter just turned 10 a few weeks ago. So this story goes back many, many years. And the interesting thing is, I was shocked that such a problem still existed, that most parents typically are still going through right now, which basically inspired me or drove me to obviously solve this problem for myself. Um, so, given my wife basically experienced a lot of back pains through pregnancy, natural for most mums, but it was I think the most chilling thing is I still remember it clearly. The fact that before we left the hospital, they said to us, "Whatever you do, given you just had a C-section, make sure you try not to bend or risk your stitches reopening." I was thinking, well, why is that? And obviously, C-section, it was completely new to us, but it was really, really uncomfortable and really painful for my wife to go through such an ordeal and experience. And obviously, when we got home, we realized that the problem was really severe, because as much as she wanted to care for our daughter at the time, she just wasn't physically able. Bending was difficult due to the back pain, and obviously following such a painful birth, it was very challenging for my wife and myself, because as much as I really wanted to help, it was almost difficult, because obviously babies typically just want the mum, and dads are just kind of assistants in that regard. So for me, I was very, very hopeless. One, I felt hopeless, and I was very helpless. I recall clearly going online and obviously trying to find a product which would be suited for exactly my needs. And I thought, surely this is something that already exists. And unfortunately, I didn't actually find anything. So it's something that churned in my head for many, many years. And fortunately for me, I started this journey roughly about 2, 3 years ago. And I'm pleasantly grateful to obviously make it this far, and obviously being able to demonstrate the product to you. So we're now obviously close to bringing this product to market, and we're trying to get you your views and opinions and takes on the product, because obviously for me, it's something I typically won't use, because my daughter's 10 and my son is 7, so we won't be fortunate enough to use such a product. But it was something that I was really gripped by, and basically felt that I could technically solve this problem, which for me was a great challenge, but also a great learning experience. So that's a lot about me. As you can tell, I can probably give you a good overview around obviously what we've done so far. But without further ado, because I don't want to ramble on too much, because I can talk about this product a lot. But yeah, I would like to go into the product demo, and obviously give you an insight about the product. So yeah, we're going to jump straight into the demo and let you get a look and feel and a bit of an experience about the product. So we're just going to go into the product demo right now. Go ahead. Hi, I'm going to give you a product walkthrough of Upzeez, the high-rise baby cot. As you can see, this is our 3-in-1 baby cot, and we have a control unit which basically operates everything you need to from this control panel. We're going to start off by giving you an overview of the 3 different settings. Pressing the first button allows you to take the lift mechanism all the way up to top height, which enables you to take applications conveniently without any bending. So this is our key primary feature of the product.
no more bending, no more strain, no more pain, especially if you're going through or have recovered or recovering from traumatic childbirth like C-sections or experiencing back pain, or if you've gone through induction as well. So right at this height, you can easily put in and take out your baby. Once your baby is actually put in, we'll press the number 2 button, and number 2 button takes it down to the bassinet mode, and bassinet mode allows you to, or allows your baby to sleep conveniently without having issues climbing out. Technically they won't, 0 to 6-8 months at this position, and obviously once they've outgrown that position, they can go into the cot mode, and cot mode is once the baby's rolling, turning, able to stand and sitting up. This is easily achieved by pushing the number 3 button, which then prevents the baby from climbing out. But most importantly, with most conventional baby cots, you have to disassemble the product. You no longer need to do that. And transitioning from the baby mode into toddler mode, almost toddler mode, allows you to easily set up the cot by a push of a button. Most convenient feature. As you can see, we've used highly sustainable material, which is like plywood, and being like plywood, the product is very strong, very solid, but also ethically sourced material for us. And with this, we have a changeable and washable mesh, and with the changeable washable mesh, as you can see, it's all about the airflow, good airflow, obviously making sure it's nice and comfortable for baby to sleep in. And outside of that, you can easily take this off. You can easily take it off and also put it in the washing machine, which is the most convenient, just ensuring good hygiene. To add to that, we have a change table, and with the change table, this is easily slotted and once it's in, you can easily open it from the side, which allows you to have the change table and the drawer. So this is to save you space. You no longer need a dresser, and with the dresser, you're literally using your baby cot as your change table. Very simple, very convenient, highly practical for us. The current size of the cot at the moment is 120 by 70. We do plan to make this smaller, but just obviously as a product demo, this is just to give you an overview of the actual change table on the baby cot. As I mentioned earlier, the lift mechanism is very, very slight, so it won't cause any disturbance or issues with your child. Outside of that, we do plan to make this here in Australia, and being made in Australia will ensure high, good quality standard of the material, and obviously making sure the quality of obviously producing the product is kept at a very high standard. One of the key things with making a baby cot, we obviously have to comply with baby safety standards, which we do, and we already meet the baby safety standard. We'll be going through that process to ensure that the product is certified and approved before we sell. Obviously, being an Australian-made product, we're looking at obviously making sure we exceed the baby safety standards, and we're already aligned to the product safety standards in America, as well as Canada, as well as the EU as well. So from a safety perspective, we've covered that. And yeah, that's as much as I would like to tell you about our product. It's a 3-in-1, and this also converts into a toddler bed. Once we remove the top side panels, it's extended from 120 centimeters to 150 centimeters, which will then enable you to use this as well with for your toddler when they transition out of the baby cot. Yeah, so I look forward to taking any questions following this demo, and I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Hello. Right. So, I can I just get some feedback? What you thought about that video? Wh- Anyone comment on that, please? That would be much appreciated. Okay. If no comments, we're gonna jump into the slides, and I can talk a little bit more about the product, and then obviously get your take. And we're gonna dive into some polls, and we're gonna do some Q&A as well. So, if we can. If there's no comments or no questions in the section, oh, I get a really cool product comment. Thank you for that. Really appreciate it. That was awesome. Okay, so let's go into the next slide. And in the next slide, right, so our product meets the Australian product safety standard. So there's 4 countries in the world that have product safety standard, and our product aligns to that. Australia having the most strictest product safety standard. We already comply with that, although we still need to, based on our concept design, we've already almost met that standard. But before we start selling, we basically need to get that basically certified and approved before we can start making sales. And that's something that's going to be happening very soon. Given we've obviously built a product, we'll be sending that off to a test lab. And once the test lab over gives us that approval, we can obviously commence with obviously what we're doing. But we already comply or meet with the Australian, American, Canadian, as well as the European product safety standard for baby cots. And another key thing, we already have our product which has been reviewed by independent, let's say, consultants, and they've given us the heads up that the product technically can already be used by people or participants of the National Disability Insurance Scheme, so NDIS, and it's obviously listed as a assisted technology product, and we already meet that. Can we move to the next slide, please? Building the best. So just to let you know, given obviously we're based here in Australia, our product is being designed between Europe and Australia, and we will most likely, or the only baby furniture product made onshore here in Australia. We already have our manufacturer with us, who's helped us already build a product. And yeah, we do have great ambitions to make sure this obviously stays on shore here in Australia, and obviously serve local Australians rather than all the other brands that tend to obviously say they're designed here in Australia but manufactured overseas. So we aim to be the first baby cot brand to be made here locally in Australia. We will be using ethically sourced wood, which is forestry FSC, which is just a standard to ensure that the wood which we use is sourced from sustainable forests. And obviously, given we're building a product which is going to be used by babies, it's obviously non-toxic chemicals, non-toxic glue, and obviously ensuring that we are building where the product can obviously be easily recycled when necessary. Um, so yeah, we basically ensure obviously the best quality, and being built here in Australia, it's all about the good quality and control to make sure that we can obviously ensure one, quality, two, durability, and most importantly, given we're very eco-friendly business, it's all about being sourced from the right channels in terms of materials which we'll be using. Next slide, please. Right, as I displayed in the demo, we have a lift mechanism which is incredibly quiet. It's using low 12 volt power source, meaning the lift mechanism is quiet. It won't disturb your baby during their sleep. And obviously, given the use case, I believe it's less than 50 decibels in terms of sound generated from the motor, which obviously it's almost similar or the same length as your baby sleeping in the quiet raindrops. So that's as far as we go. Can I have the slide back, please? We've lost the slide. Okay, right. And obviously, one of the key things with this product, that one of the key advantages is the sense that with the lift mechanism, we essentially accommodate different demographic users. For example, obviously, when both mums or both mum and dad return back to work after paternity leave, we typically get some assistance from the family. In most cases, for those who are fortunate enough to still have their grandparents, if the grandparents step in, and obviously the older they get, back pain is a big problem. But two, they also have, some might obviously have gone through things like arthritis or hip replacements. Having that adjustable mechanism would serve them incredibly well, because I've heard some cases where grandma is a little bit too small to reach into the baby cot, and she ends up getting as close as she can and just placing the baby gently down onto the mattress. But typically, it's assuring the fact that given the lift mechanism comes up, they can place their child without worrying of dropping the child into the mattress. One of the cool things as well with the product, we've made it very user-friendly for people with disabilities, especially wheelchair, where they have a side access to the baby cot. And obviously with the side access, it basically means they don't need assistance from their partners who might be fully able to put in and take out their baby. But they can actually do this from the side. And I'll just quickly show this to you now, where you can literally access it from the side, and having access to the side, you can actually put your baby in. You put the baby into the cot easily in a wheelchair. So very, very easy, neat feature, which works incredibly well. And the other thing as well is just the fact that it's all about convenience. And it's obviously thinking a very inclusive product where obviously we never know what's going to happen to any one of us, in the sense that any one of us can be disabled tomorrow. So why haven't we built a cot that accommodates the whole general, I call it demographic of people? So it's just being very inclusive, very holistic, and obviously solving a problem for people that need it most. That's what we're about. Next slide, please. Customizations. So big one. Obviously, like I said in the demo, we have a change table, which is an add-on, and essentially using that change table in the sense that you no longer need a dresser, which takes up more space. You're using your existing baby cot as your change table by placing the change table on top of the baby cot. And obviously with that drawer, it's essentially allowing you to store things like your pseudo cream, your nappies, maybe your nose sucker, if your baby's obviously having difficulty breathing. So it's all about convenience. It's all about saving you space. It's all about obviously building something which would last the journey of your child's growth, because we've got some really cool, interesting features where essentially the change table actually grows with your child. So it's not just a use and get rid of and buy something else. We plan to use the change table, which evolves into another product, i.e. potentially a bedside table. So it's something which is extendable past its use case as well. So yeah, we're all about saving space. We're all about saving you money, most importantly. And yeah, we can obviously move on to the next slide. Future proof. So given obviously it's a 3-in-1 baby cot, we've actually designed this to meet that specific need, because most baby cots, similar to other brands, where 3-in-1, it's a bassinet, which is obviously the high level or mid level, and then the cot, which is the low level. And this cot essentially transitions into what I call the toddler bed. And the toddler bed, as I said in the video, you take out the 2 side panels, and taking out the 2 side panels, you put an extension conversion kits, they call it, in the baby industry world. And that basically extends the existing cot from 120 centimeters to 150 centimeters, which basically allows your growing child to use the product up until they're 5 or 6 years old, given obviously how quickly or slow they grow. So yeah, it's definitely a 0 to 5, 6 years old product. And I think one of the key things as well, which I might not have mentioned, it's all about good airflow using the fabric mesh. So yeah, it's all about, again, using the quality materials which we're using. It's giving you that longevity. Being light plywood, we're using premium high plywood, which obviously, one, it's strong, but it's also very relatively light as well. And one of the cool, interesting things with this baby furniture as well, it's something that we can definitely confidently say you can assemble this baby cot within 30 minutes, and that's me being generous. Um, Once it's out of the packet and basically assembling everything, it should take you roughly less than 30 minutes. And I recall doing this with our baby cot, and it took me almost 3/4 of a day. And I was like, surely there's something else I could do, I could be doing with my time rather than spending 3/4 of the day putting together a baby furniture. But yeah, let's move to the next slide. Okay, so now we're going to go into a quick poll, and I would like this to be a lot more interactive if you could. So we're going to go through some questions on the poll, and I would like you to just comment on what your answers are to each of these questions. Can we start with the first question, please? And after the Q&A, we're going to dive into after the poll, we're going to dive into a Q&A as well. So what is your age specifically? You can feel free to answer that in the chat. So at least I get some indication of the people on the live event. What age do you fall into, or age category? Just put a comment. That would be much appreciated. Fantastic. Kate Wells, awesome. Brilliant. Anything else? Any more responses? Yep, go for it. Thank you so much for commenting. Any more comments? Keep them coming. Keep them sharing. Even if you're not even having any more kids, it's still good to know who's actually in this group. Okay, let's go to the next question. Have you ever had a C-section? This is a good one. If you have an elective you might have chosen due to health reasons, and you might have obviously hoped to have what I call a natural birth, and having an emergency C-section. Honestly, it's not a problem. It's just one of those things which I won't say unfortunate, because it's best to have a C-section than pass away in some cases. So let's be genuine about that. No, and unplanned. Nope. Okay, awesome. No, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, let's dive into the next question, please. What do you think is the most important feature of Upzeez? Is it the lifting? Is it the mesh walls for good airflow? And obviously, it's more gentler, and well, it's more soft and gentle on your child rather than the slats, which is obviously hard. And obviously, the hazards with the slats is quite interesting. During my research, 20% of children in baby cots hurt themselves in the cot, and in most cases, it's due to the obviously the slats having gaps, and the limbs and legs ends up between those the slats, and obviously leads to accidents and injuries. Okay, fantastic. I like the fact a lot of people have said lifting. Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much. Does anyone like the design at all? Can I get a yes or a no? Do you like the design? Good to get some feedback on that. Or obviously the fact that it's Australian made. Which one is it? Okay, let's dive into the next question, please. Thank you so much. It looks good. Thank you. How would you prefer to buy a cot like this from a physical store, online? Since we've been what I call we've been in pandemic. I think everyone is kind of used to and comfortable with online purchasing. But how would you feel about buying a baby cot online? It would be good to know. What's your take on that? The design is lovely. Awesome. Thank you. Also, it's made in Australia. Great. Thumbs up. I appreciate it. Um, okay, so in terms of, would you like to buy from a physical store or directly from me online? A physical store or online? What's your preference? It would be good to know. A physical store would be ideal. See and use it in person. That's fantastic. No, definitely great feedback. I really appreciate it. And obviously, what about online demos? Like we can do Facebook online demos one on one with yourself directly. That's also an option. It can be done thanks to technology, because obviously with COVID, we've had to work around different options. Okay, next question, please. Thank you so much for your responses so far. Only two more questions, and we can dive into some quick Q&As from yourself, and I can give you some answers or responses. What would make your purchase more reassuring? In-store demonstration, customer reviews, doctor's recommendation, volume of previous customers, or 60-day no risk trial. Sorry, it's getting late for me. Had a very long day, so apologies for that. So, what would make your purchase reassuring out of those options there? In-store demonstration, all of the above. Okay, sure. Thank you. If you were to choose one, which one would it be? What would be your ideal or your preference? All of the above. Okay, completely flexible. Okay, that's definitely good to know. I really appreciate that. Okay, let's jump into the final and last question. Customer reviews and doctors. Okay, that'll be interesting to know why customer reviews and doctors. Okay. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for that feedback. How much would you expect to pay for an Upzeez cot? 500, 1,000, 1,200, 1,500, over 1,800 bucks. Um, I'm not sure if obviously if you've had children before, it would be good to know which cot you bought, which brand. 500 to 1,000. Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Great response. Any more? 500 to 1,000 as well. So any more? How much would you expect to pay for such a cot? 500 to 1,000. Any more? 1,500 to 1,800. Okay, that's good feedback. Anything else? Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. So I think we're gonna go, given we've done all those questions, I would like to go into Q&A. So feel free to type in your questions in the Q&A and I will answer them. And obviously subject to those questions, we will I might be able to go back to the product and obviously give you a more overview subject to the question, if that helps. But if we can just quickly go back to the slides, let's go back to that final slide. So just to let you know, once again, we'd like to thank you for obviously showing up to the Facebook Live. You can definitely follow up by sending us an email. You can go to our website. Most importantly, you can follow us on our socials. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, as well as LinkedIn. For all those working professional mums and everyone who's obviously in that space. LinkedIn's a great platform, as well as Facebook and Instagram. So whichever channel you're comfortable with, we can definitely reach and connect to us via those channels. So we've got those questions coming in. Let me see which one. Right. So when do I expect the time frame? Do you have a time frame? So we're hoping to turn this around in the next, say, I would say generously within the next 3 to 4 months. Very ambitious, But again, given we're out of lockdown, I'm able to get certain things done a lot quickly because I started this in 2020, and we obviously January 2020 was when I started, and March we went into lockdown, and it's hindered the project tremendously. But it hasn't stopped us. We're still around. We're still going to make it happen. So we're looking in that 3 to 4 months time frame because we've built the product now. We're going to get things tested and certified and approved. And obviously, once that's done, it's all about going live, which is all we're doing. We're currently working on that. So yeah, in 3 to 4 months, I think it's pretty realistic. But it's best to what do I call it? Subscribe to our waitlist. You get those updates on a monthly basis where we are, what we're doing, and how what to expect in the say 2 to 4 weeks period ahead of that time from when that newsletter basically goes out. So it's going to be happening soon. Price is okay. So it's very tricky because for one, the product is something which is bespoke, and the way we're trying to do this is almost going to be built to your. It's customized where you can actually potentially choose what type of finish you might want on the product, whether that be American oak, Tasmanian oak, different types of finishes, which again, you will get that choice, or that the goal is to obviously make sure that you get that choice, but it's very tricky to actually put a price on something while we're still going through the motion of obviously we've locked in our supplier or manufacturer. We still need to lock into suppliers and obviously secure our pricing before we can actually stay how much it's going to cost. So that's something you're going to have to bear with us for now. But it's something that's definitely going to happen in the coming months. And obviously, it's part of that process that we need to go through. So bear with us, subscribe to our waitlist. And obviously, once those updates are pretty much locked in, we will share those information with you, especially with the pricing. Will you be exporting this to other countries outside of Australia? Yes, it's something that's in the roadmap. I'm not sure if we'll be doing that immediately, but it's definitely something that we're global. We're definitely going global. It's just a question of timing and obviously how certain things go. One here in Australia, but yeah, obviously COVID. We've got the war happening in Russia as well, or in Ukraine, which is obviously not ideal, and that does have some impact to what we're doing, even though we're not in the middle of it. So it is definitely something we will be looking. Asia Pacific, global is definitely the goal. Any more questions about the product? Obviously, about anything else you would like me to cover? Feel free to drop your questions in the chat. Okay, so just to say again, I would like to thank you so much for giving up or sparing your time to join our Facebook Live. It's obviously great, obviously, to be at this point where we obviously have demonstrated this to you. And if you have any further questions, feel free to send us an email. We look forward to you liking, following, share this with your network or your mum, fellow friends that might be expecting. Obviously, I'll hope to reconnect with you following this session as well. So thank you so much. And I look forward to you guys either signing up for the Facebook Live. And thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now.